Which it was time to reflect and consider the future. I came to the decision that after 20 years of public service, which includes 17 years served concurrently with Shelburne District Fire Department, that it's time for me to turn the page and go in a different direction. So.
You gonna stay in Shelburne?
Oh yeah. Like living here,
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll have a watchful eye on the new regime.
It'll be a new regime, that's for sure.
Carte blanche.
Yeah.
So
Will you still be part of the fire board?
I won't be part of anything.
So then I guess maybe if you can talk about, well, there probably is a lot, but if you can talk about some of the, the highlights, over the years, or
boy.
or I know there's a lot, or maybe
Yeah.
just something that really stands out to you that you really feel proud of that you've accomplished for the people of Shelburne.
Well, I don't know that I could speak to just one event over 20 years. The redevelopment of the CDRC in 2010 was one of my favorites because I was chairman of that building in that group for nearly 10 years, and that was a project I was very passionate about. But again, that was 8 years ago, and if you go up there today, at that time it was a $3 million investment. It needs another $3 million invested today. So that was one. I know we've redeveloped the ball diamonds in this term of council, of which I was very proud, and the pavilion at Natasha Patterson Park that we just recently cut the ribbon on, I think maybe a year ago, again is a very welcoming addition to the town's infrastructure. Those are just a few off the top of my head. There's been so many, and again, I can't thank my family and close friends for all the years of support.
Remember old councilors?
The sacrifices that members of my family have made, either defending me in coffee shops or the missed soccer games and baseball games of my children. So. And I look back on all the councillors and the members of staff that I'm fortunate enough to work with, and I will cherish this period of my life for the years to come.
So then, just going off of that, if you could talk maybe a little bit more specifically about what is it that you're going to miss about being on council and being part of the town and making that difference.
So if you look at the makeup of Ken Bennington, it's I've never been one who wanted power or wanted to be in charge of everything. I started this journey years ago as just a guy that wanted to help make a difference, and that role has evolved from at that time I was a volunteer fireman, and which somehow led me to be the hydro commissioner, which turned into being a role on council, and then deputy mayor, and ultimately mayor. So I certainly feel that I've climbed the rungs of the organization, if you will, and yeah, I'm very proud of that. Again, I'll still be that guy that wants to help. It will just be somewhere else.
So if I could ask a quick question.
Sure.
What if in 4 years' time, after watching the new guys, you decide that maybe you should run again? Is that a possibility?
I would never say never, but that's not my intent. There's some I'll call them younger, maybe it's just newer gentlemen on council that have a lot of enthusiasm and some spring in their step. And I think they're the ones to lead the charge from this point on.
Can you explain what you might see as your vision for Shelburne in the future?
Well, I hope the town of Shelburne continues to grow, because when I've been reading a lot of profiles of future candidates, and it's easy to say the town of Shelburne needs more industry. Obviously we do. What we need is more jobs, and a commercial job. And so not to single anyone out, but if you drive down our industrial section, there's two manufacturing facilities with signs on their lawns that say, looking for help, $15.50 an hour. The other says 16. Well, you know, if we could continue with growing homes, that will lead to growing commercial businesses. And I'm quite certain that a big box store, let's just say it's, I shouldn't say, a big box store would pay the same wage. And so, obviously, yes, it'd be great to attract another industry, but with the recent talks of Donald Trump and NAFTA and the recent, you know, the value of the Canadian dollar compared to the U.S., that's going to be a tough hill to climb. So I think those jobs that we seek are waiting for us in the commercial sector. The population needs to grow to a point where we can embrace that commercial development. And I think we're there. You can see that there's things happening on the corner of 89 and 124. And I think there'll be some large number of jobs created in there.
The sanitary servicing update for 501, 503, what ended up happening with that? Was it approved, or is there just more information coming forward?
So we have spent a year debating that issue. We've spent countless hours of staff time, engineering, legal, looking for a solution to the concerns of that property. And what council decided tonight is that there is no solution for council there. This is a private matter with private homeowners, and if they want to develop that property, then the costs of those sewer installations will be borne by the homeowners and not council.
I guess what was the reason for council deciding what they decided tonight?
Well, there's a whole bunch of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened was, so to come back is the issue of those properties is centered on development. If those houses remain intact as they are, or even a minor renovation, a new bathroom, some painting, that kind of thing, the sewer service it serves its purpose. There's nothing wrong with it. The problem is that those gentlemen have come to the table with a plan of development, and what they want to do, which is on record, is to sever those lots and build semis. And so I forget the exact number, it's in the report, but if the sewers, they would like the taxpayers to pay for $150,000 or $187,000 in sewer costs, but yet their intent is to sever, subdivide, and build 4 semis, which, if you look on Victoria Street, there's 2 semis there for sale for about $450,000 a piece. So they stand to make $1.8 million on that property, and the town would bonus the developer, and we just can't do that. We're not in that business. What I think the council has exhausted their efforts is because we don't know how that sewer was installed. We don't know that it was a town of Shelburne employee or a town of Shelburne director or a contractor that said, you know, hook those pipes together and run it through private service. We can't prove that. The homeowners have tried to prove it. We have tried to prove it, to say, okay, if we're at fault, then we should fix it. And we're unable to prove that the town of Shelburne is at fault there.
So then that cost would be split between, I guess, the guy and the son, then? That's what it would be then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how big you are, how much money you have. If you're going to develop property
Mm-hmm.
and you're in the development business, then you need to be prepared to bear those costs. And it's no different. We have a house being built, recently severed lot on First Ave and Jelly. That company had to pay $80,000 for a sewer connection for that new property, and this is the exact same situation.
It was the 1/3 tax-free exemption.
Yep,
So you voted against that?
I sure did.
So if you can just tell me a little bit about that.
So, excuse me. So, in all of my time around the table, and I didn't make the rule; it was just part of it. There's always been 1/3. 1/3 of your wage has been a tax-free allowance, a municipal offers allowance, and it applied at the time to volunteer firemen as well. Is that 1/3 of your income was tax-free. and that was to offset any costs of doing the role of a public servant. We can't claim our cell phones. I don't claim mileage for any meeting that I go to. And so that was the purpose of the 1/3 tax-free exemption. I guess the province has decided that they're going to do away with that, and that's fine. But all councils, including this one, have decided that in order to offset the tax impact to those councillors, to give everyone a wage increase. And to me, that is just more pigs at the trough. Why wouldn't we just pay our share of taxes and go to an accountant to claim those if they're legitimate expenses such as cell phones and mileage and those kinds of things, then they should be you should be allowed to claim them as a cost of doing this business. And to me, to just across the board give everyone a wage increase, well, that's just one more hand in the pocket of the taxpayer, and I disagree with it in principle.
Could you just go over and review the development trucks, the haulers, and explain to the town of Shelburne what will be happening?
So, should be no surprise to the town of Shelburne, we are under development, and this summer is going to be a busy construction season. What council has tried to do, in our wisdom, is to keep heavy trucks, being dump trucks, out of the downtown core. And so what we've designed through staff is 2 independent haul routes for 2 independent developments that will supply the needed fill to those developments without impacting or little impact to our residents. And so one haul route will be across County Road 11 to Victoria Street. We've agreed to allow the trucks to come 400 meters down Victoria Street to a construction entrance that will be built to feed the fill into the Highland Village, which is on the west end of town. The other development is on 124, where we've actually built a left turn staging lane for those heavy trucks. Their haul route will be from County Road 17 south on 124 into the development and back out in the same route. So we've worked well with the developers to limit the amount of trucks that are waiting to turn left on 124, and they've assured us that at no times should there be more than one truck waiting to turn left. And they're going to time the trucks and coordinate the times they either leave the pit or the construction site to limit what time they get back or how many come back at once.
On to the next topic. Upper Grand District School Board will be coming to visit council soon. What are you hoping to discuss at that time?
Well, what we want to do, I guess, is we want to be a player at the table of the Upper Grand District School Board. We know that we're the fastest growing town in Ontario, and we have been for some time. We would like to be more than just a letter exchanging body with the school board. If we're developing, then let's invite the school board to the table to say, okay, what are we going to do about the schools? Houses bring jobs, but they also bring kids. Where are these kids going to go to school? I have personally received 100 complaints from parents at the high school about overcrowding, shared lockers, those kinds of things. And those are not a town council responsibility. Those rely with the school board, and the public has a school board trustee who can address those concerns better than the mayor and council. But in the absence of that, we've invited them to our table to try to build that bridge to say, we need to look at that ahead of time, not from the other end of the horse.
In closing, I was wondering, as a man and mayor in Shelburne, what would your message be to Shelburnites in the way of what you hope for the town in the future from a personal view?
On a personal note, I take my mayor hat off and say that throughout, and not just me, throughout this council, throughout last council, we made a conscious decision to grow Shelburne. And when we did that, we did that to invite people to Shelburne that are looking for the same things as you and I. Safe streets, good schools, places to work, and the color of our skin shouldn't matter. And so my parting message would be, please, to the town of Shelburne, just love each other.